This video was made possible by EA Game Changers. Hello there everybody, it is me XfreezerBunny and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're doing a Moroccan inspired build featuring the brand new Courtyard Oasis kit. So quick thank you to EA for giving me a free review copy of this kit, and they also gave me an extra code to give away to you guys. So I'm going to be giving away one PC code for Courtyard Oasis, and all you need to do is be subscribed and leave a comment down below asking me anything. I'm planning to do a Q&A video soon, so instead of rummaging through all of my old videos for frequently asked questions, I just wanted to make things easier for me and kind of like combine or compile all of the questions in this video. And yeah, please make sure to leave your contact information as well. Please make sure to leave your Twitter and Instagram contact information, and also make sure that your DMs are opened, because I've done many giveaways before where I couldn't contact the winner for some reason, so I had to give away the prize to someone else. So if you don't want to miss out, please make sure that you follow all of the instructions and make sure that your DMs are open. So yes, I will put the instructions in written form in a pinned comment on this video as well. So if you have any questions about the giveaway, please feel free to ask me. I will be happy to clarify it for you guys. But anyway, going back to the build, I am actually pleasantly surprised by this pack. I didn't see it coming, first of all, but once I've gotten my hands on it, I was blown away by the detail on all of the items in this pack. This pack did not come with a lot of items. It probably came with maybe just over a dozen items, but each item is so detailed, and honestly, for a pack that doesn't have a lot of items, I can say that it's pretty well-rounded. You know, you can do a lot with the items that they gave us, and I think it kind of just shows that we don't need 10 million items in each pack. We just need something that's well thought out and well made. This kit is definitely well made, as you can see with all of the beautiful details. And of course, Moroccan architecture is very detailed, and I'm really happy that they didn't skimp out on all of the beautiful detail that we have here. By far, my favorite items from this pack would probably have to be the archways. They are so beautiful and so versatile as well. I can definitely use them in more of a modern minimalist setting, also in a more traditional setting as well. I kind of combined both aesthetics in this build. You know, I definitely went for more minimalistic architectural detail, but also very bright, bold accents of these mosaic colors that are so beautiful as well. So I've been sharing a lot of this build on Twitter, and so far a lot of you guys have been reacting really positively to it, so I'm really excited to get this build out on YouTube to get your guys' full opinion. As for the pack itself, I definitely think that it's more of a builder's pack. There's so many beautiful architectural details, and you know, as an architecture graduate that is really passionate about history and culture, this pack is definitely right up my alley. I definitely got very inspired immediately, almost immediately once I got this pack. Believe it or not, this build was the product of my first time opening up builds by mode when I got the pack. This is literally the first thing I came up with. And yeah, basically I just let my imagination run wild, and I'm really happy that this pack once again gave me that boost of inspiration, because I feel like The Sims 4 has gotten a bit stale recently, to be completely honest. This pack was definitely a pleasant surprise. I'm really excited to actually know your guys' thoughts on the pack, because I've been loving it so far. If you can't tell from this build, I definitely went the creative route. I feel like a lot of my recent builds have been more of like a realistic approach, you know, to my designs, but definitely this one still quite a realistic structure. But I also definitely went the creative route because I decided to actually make this into kind of like a floating palace. I really love the aesthetic of, you know, kind of like this, you know, Moorish floating palace. It's been a while since I've done a build here in Sultan as well, and I just really wanted to do this kind of like floating palace, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think a lot of the architectural details that came with this pack definitely made it possible. You know, I love how the archways almost kind of like reach out to the water, and yeah, it's kind of like a seamless divide between the beach and the ocean, which I really love as well. I definitely see this build somewhere maybe in the Mediterranean, or maybe even somewhere in Dubai, you know, where we have a lot of like, you know, modern yet traditional mansions owned by, you know, the wealthy and famous people of the world, I guess. This palace, actually, I thought about making it for a royal family, you know, like maybe they're not like the king and queen, maybe like a lesser royal, but I definitely imagine this to be more of like a royal vacation home. That's why there's quite a bit of grandeur to it, and it's also really open as well, so I hope that there's also quite a bit of privacy as well. But yeah, I really love the aesthetic of the archways, and I honestly have so many ideas for builds using this pack. It's that versatile, but this is the first one I came up with, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm using those fountain pieces from Spade basically as like domes. This is a technique that I came up with way back in 2015, I believe, when I did my Taj Mahal build. I'm really happy to revisit that technique like 6 years later. So yeah, it still works, and I'm really happy with how it all ties everything together. So for those of you who are familiar with the Alhambra in Spain, in Granada, the layout of the courtyard is basically inspired by that. This build is actually planned around a series of courtyards, which in my opinion is probably one of the most difficult floor plans to do, because sometimes courtyards can be very tricky because they can feel very closed off, and sometimes you don't want that. You kind of want like a good flow to the layout, and it's really hard to describe, but I have done quite a lot of planning in my professional experience, and let me just tell you that the courtyards are definitely really difficult to plan correctly. So this house ended up having 2 courtyards. The first one is kind of in the middle. It's a beautiful courtyard that opens onto the beach, and it doesn't have anything in it. It just has a little fountain area, but if you want to, you can make your son do yoga or meditate in that courtyard. Really beautiful, kind of like pavilion towards the end near the ocean. And over here, kind of like an afterthought, because I really wanted to have, okay, so I really loved the idea of like a floating garden, right? So I decided to make this, it's not really even a courtyard, it's kind of like an extra kind of little balcony where, you know, it has some gardens. Eventually I will be putting in some plants eventually over here, but yeah, right now I'm just putting in some grass right there. And this little garden area also leads on to a little dock, because of course this is a floating palace, and I imagine the only way to access this, or one of the ways to access this, would be through, you know, a private yacht, the royal yacht. Interestingly enough, I also included a parking lot in front of this build. You will see eventually, but I did have quite a lot of space left in front, so I just put in some sports cars and yeah, some extra bits of landscaping, which you will see towards the end of this video. But for those of you who are actually familiar with Dubai, there's this really famous like artificial palm islands. I kind of see this as, you know, maybe the location for this build. It could literally be anywhere. It's interesting because for the landscaping, I definitely went for more of a Mediterranean vibe, but like I said, I definitely see this somewhere in Dubai as well, maybe like in one of the Palm Islands. So that is that. And also, this is the first time that I'm actually using a lot of the Muslim themed objects that have been patched into the game a while back. Actually, I've been using a lot of the doors in this build, as well as the clothes actually that came with that patch. I'm really excited to show you guys the Sims that I made for this house tour, because I did dress them up in modest clothing. So it's the first time that I'm actually doing it in my game, and I'm really happy to show them off to you guys, because I did dress them up in some really fashionable outfits, if I do say so myself. Really happy with how their outfits turned out. Hopefully you enjoy them. If you guys are Muslim, please let me know if, you know, I dressed them up okay, I guess. Just a bit of personal information. My mom actually worked in Saudi Arabia as a nurse before I was born. This was way back in the 80s, by the way. So yeah, she definitely made sure that we knew about, you know, the religion and the culture of the people there. So I tried to, you know, incorporate a little bit of that knowledge into this build as well. But we just furnished the kind of like main room of this house. We have a joint living and dining room, which I absolutely love, by the way. I did use quite a lot of Jungle Adventure in this pack, and surprisingly I also used a lot of Journey to Batu, which was a pack that I did not expect to use. But when I actually got a chance to check out Journey to Batu last year, I did notice that a lot of the lights reminded me so much of Moroccan style lamps. I believe I actually used some of them in a build last year as kind of like bedside lamps, and they look really Moroccan. So yeah, it's interesting because I'm not sure if you guys have noticed this, but sometimes EA would actually leave, I'm not sure if they do it intentionally, but I feel like they do leave artifacts of future packs in earlier releases. I feel like when Journey to Batu came out, I immediately had a feeling that we were gonna be getting an Asian themed pack, because a lot of the outfits from Journey to Batu reminded me of, you know, traditional Japanese or Korean clothing. You know, there's one outfit there that reminded me so much of like a samurai costume and like a kimono. And maybe that's just the art style of Star Wars. I'm not really that familiar with the series, but when I saw that, I was like, okay, you know what? There's gonna be a huge possibility that it's going to be an Asian pack next. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just really exposed to the Sims franchise. I have been a fan for like over 15 years at this point, so maybe I'm starting to get kind of like a sense of what EA is working for or working at. But anyway, that's just me. But yeah, this is the kitchen. Nothing too crazy, mostly jungle adventures for the counters and the cabinets. I did use the cool kitchen stove over there, as well as the jungle adventures fridge, and I also used quite a bit of spooky stuff. Surprisingly, a lot of their items worked really well with this build, and I really like the clutter items that came with that pack as well, so I also made sure to incorporate the ones that I really like. But here we have kind of like a little floating garden. We have the beautiful mosaic tile that came with this pack, and also a fountain as a centerpiece. I like this because it kind of opens onto the living room, and yeah, this little area reminds me so much of Jasmine's garden. I'm not even sure if she has a garden, but remember, like in Aladdin, Jasmine would usually hang out with the tiger Raja, yeah, in their garden, so I was kind of like going for that vibe. By the way, the balcony area for this totally reminds me of the live action Aladdin movie, if any of you guys have seen it. I'm pretty sure you have, but yeah. Moving on to the main bedroom in this house. This house did end up having 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. This master bedroom right here is actually on the ground floor because I wanted a bedroom where the sim could walk out to the ocean, and as you can see, literally right next to the bed there is a little staircase where the sim can actually walk down into the beach. And believe it or not, it actually works. The sim will wade into the water and they can go swimming right outside of their bedroom, which is such an amazing feature. Really love it. And over here right next to the bed, I am doing this custom lamp setup. This has been definitely becoming much of a trend recently. I've seen this so much on Art Digest. By the way, if any of you watch Art Digest, that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. But yeah, definitely these hanging bedside lamps have become quite a trend. And don't worry, for privacy, I did put some curtains. I did use the transparent ones that came with Island Living. So yeah, let's just say that this house is located in a private island, so they don't really have to worry that much about privacy, but just check out the views from the bed. Aren't they so gorgeous? They're so beautiful. Honestly, I could also see even like a mermaid living in this house because it's so close to the water. I definitely would see this house, you know, being a very suitable home for a mermaid. By the way, the shape of this house unintentionally ended up looking a lot like Prince Eric's castle, right? I'm just realizing it now, actually talking about the Little Mermaid, but doesn't it like remind you a little bit of Prince Eric's castle? There's definitely a lot of openness in this house, and as you can see, this is the master bathroom and there is no separation between the bedroom and the bathroom itself. Really like that aesthetic. And here I definitely used a lot of the beautiful mosaic tiles that we got with this pack. I tried to not overuse the colors because I feel like when you use too much color, they kind of cancel each other out, and yeah, you can't really appreciate the colors if you use too much of it, in my opinion. So I definitely used more of a minimal aesthetic, but also incorporate some accent colors with these beautiful mosaic tiles right here. And every room usually has a feature wall, so I'm using a lot of these stucco textures as feature walls. I think the colors really complement each other And yeah, I'm really happy with how everything came together. Definitely the bathrooms have a blue accent wall, and the bedrooms have kind of like a reddish to orangey accent walls. Definitely more of the warmer tones. But yeah, there's also a separate little room where I put the toilet as well. Also, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I have updated my tool mod. I know a lot of you have been really anxious that I updated because it does have a lot more functionality. So yes, I finally heed your advice and went through the effort of learning the new tricks that came with the updated tool mod. It's not really new because I feel like these new features have been implemented for a while, but there is also an option, like I forgot what they're called, but it's like being able to use tool in like the improved build by mode. At the moment, I'm kind of used to the way build by is as it is in game, so I don't think I'm gonna use that. But thank you to all of you who suggested I use the tool mod. It definitely made doing this build a lot more time effective, if that makes sense. Yeah, it definitely saved me a lot of time doing this build, especially with like all of the tedious repetitive stuff. I could easily just copy bits and pieces using a tool mod, and I don't have to go through all of these really unnecessary steps just to, you know, duplicate an item, scale an item. I could just easily copy them. But anyway, I know it's been a while since my last video, so I want to know how you're all doing. This is becoming more and more of a feature on the channel lately, but I have been very busy with my personal life, so I didn't really have a lot of time to work on videos. But I want to know how you're all doing, and I hope you're all staying safe. Just to give you a little bit of a life update, as per usual, I'm still collecting my anime figures. I have bought so many figures this month. I'm literally broke. Not surprising because, as we all know, anime figures can get very expensive. But I have also been doing quite a lot of redecorating as well. It's been really stressful because a lot of the items that I ordered last month took literally a month to arrive. So I had like a pile of just boxes in my living room, and it was really stressful. But I'm really happy that everything's finally coming together. I bought a lot of stuff from Japan that I used to decorate my room with, and yeah, maybe I can share some, you know, pictures for you guys or whatever. But yeah, I think retail therapy is getting me through this pandemic. Anyway, so yeah, we just furnished the rest of the 2 bedrooms, which are both located upstairs. I didn't include the footage of me furnishing the guest bathroom because it's really not that exciting, and I was really struggling for time with this one. It took me forever to do this build, by the way. Even though I was able to save a lot of time using a tool mod, it still took me a lot of time to actually finish this build. But upstairs there is a guest room and maybe a kids room or whatever. But yeah, a lot of rooms for your Sims to choose from. I imagine the room overlooking the floating garden to be the guest bedroom, by the way, and maybe the kids' bedroom can have the one with the single beds. But anyway, for the landscaping, like I said earlier, I did go for more of a Mediterranean theme. Yeah, the weird thing about this island home right here is that it doesn't really connect to a road. So I don't know, maybe some of these sports cars can go off-road or something, but anyway, you tell me. That's going to be it for this build, so thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed it. So yeah, once again, if you want to join the giveaway, all of the details for that will be in the description below. But other than that, I think that's actually going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.